lead you to that point.
Because I buy into this fashion, that means that I'm this kind of person. I'm this kind of person, so I buy this. I mean, you construct a sense of self, you have philosophies, you have values, and then those values inform how you shop. Now it's the exact opposite. I want you to think I'm deep. I want you to think I'm able to curate a sense of style. I want you to think that I'm interesting or an intellectual, and that's why I buy this fragrance, and then this weird girl shoe, and then this bag, and whatever. And it's like, things are so backwards and topsy-turvy. But the reason why the Dave Chappelle musical guests all dressed that way is because they had they were situated culturally, socially, and politically in a way that was similar, and that informed the decisions that they made to shop and the ways that they would divest from mainstream trends and the ways that they would divest from fashioning identity. Like, you'll see that a lot of like conscious rappers have natural hair that's grown out, freeform locks, or locks in general, or they show their hair texture. They're not ashamed of it. They're not shaving it down. They wear clothes that look thrifted. They dress like old men or whatever else, or they're very covered up, or they're just dressing in a way that is not aligned with the mainstream. It did not used to be that you were doing that to show people that you're the kind of person who would shop that way. You were doing that, again, because it's informed by your values and your politics. You're resisting because you have an actual sense of consciousness. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have politics, you have values, and that informs how you shop. When you can only shop at the thrift store, like, you see how there's a difference between having actual politics that inform how you shop versus trying to signal to people that you're the kind of person who shops in a certain way, or you have a certain aesthetic that has been sold to you and you're effectively performing it.
This is the best explanation I've seen for why appropriation of cultures has been expedited and flattened to aesthetics in the digital age, but it also connects to the K-pop machine. Now that I'm older and a bit more detached from K-pop, seeing debuts like All Day Project have been a stark reminder of why K-pop is no longer for me. Everything about it is manufactured, inauthentic, cringeworthy at worst, and boring at best. I was initially attracted to K-pop because it seemed like the full package. Vocals, dance, performance, and visuals. But over the years, visuals seem to be all that matters. It's rare to find a song over 3 minutes or a full-length album where vocals are highlighted. Dance is just a spectacle that rarely adds or enhances a performance. The over-reliance on visuals and looking cool is becoming ridiculous, and has made the genre superficial and hollow, much like the trend cycles we see on TikTok. Tarzan from All Day Project is a prime example. I will be calling him by his government name, Itaewon, because I'm not calling you Tarzan. Let's be so serious. In the debut music video, he's seen wearing cornrows, chains, and attempting to rap. He's not even the first Blackaboo idol to do this culture vulture shtick, but I now see his archetype in a different light. After taking in that creator's comments about the impulse to just buy into other cultures and look the part, this egregious display of appropriation and cosplay is just embarrassing. He wants to look the part and be cool so badly that he and his label have invested so much into buying the coolness for him through superficial accessories and black aesthetics. The other members are even wearing grills. It's like watching your little cousin put on clothes and makeup that doesn't fit them. But it's cute because they're kids, right? Not adults trying to pass themselves off as artists. Blackness in hip-hop culture has been turned to an aesthetic and props. There's a constant need to separate blackness from hip-hop when they are intertwined. There's no hip-hop without black people. There's no jazz, no blues, no country, no rap, and people need to get that through their heads. There's no entertainment industry without black contribution. Scratch that. There is no profitable entertainment industry without blackness, without black contribution. And yet we are constantly undermined, undervalued, and disrespected. Bong Shi-hyuk, the CEO of Big Hit Entertainment and creator of BTS, the most successful K-pop group, said, "In terms of music, black music is the base. Even when doing any genres like house, urban, and R&B, there's no change to the fact that it is black music. The boundaries of music genres are being broken globally. We are also embracing this and making it BTS style. The members like hip-hop and black music, these two things lowered the entry barrier to Western markets. K-pop is unfamiliar to Westerners, but they are familiar with hip-hop and black music. Despite this truth, there's an instinct to erase the context of black people's cultural influence everywhere. This erasure happens in real time, and I constantly see it in response to my own work. In response to my Culture Vulture video, people play dumb saying cis, unk, and period are all words that aren't specific to AAVE. No one is saying these words don't exist in different contexts, but there's a big difference between saying end of discussion, point blank period, and saying period, 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 okay, period. There's a big difference, and y'all are not going to convince me otherwise. The gestures, the attitude, the cultural meaning, all of that comes from black communities, particularly black women and queer black culture. But the people making these responses are what? Say it with me, class. Desperate to be dense. This pattern of willful ignorance serves a purpose. It allows people to take what they want from black culture while avoiding any acknowledgement, respect, or reciprocity. They can claim that it's all just universal human expression when it's convenient, but somehow these universal expressions always seem to flow in one direction, away from black people. It's concerning beyond the music because there's a desire to copy all things black. Our style, swagger, hairstyle, slang, and entire cultural identity. The most haunting haunting example of this mindset comes from the man, the myth, the legend, JYP. JYP is the founder of one of the biggest K-pop companies under the same name, and my personal menace. Have you guys seen that man tap dance or dance period? In this clip, he was in awe of Jessie, a notorious culture vulture, and praised her for sounding like Mary J. Blige, and quote, like she grew up in the slums.
재능이 무섭다 사실은. 깡패야. 그러니까 재능 깡패. 아니 프로의 경향 가수가 아니고 미국의 메리 제이 블라이즈라고 완전히 빈민가에서 큰 여자 있거든요. 걔 목소리 같아요.
Y'all still want to push the whole cultural appreciation thing? Not calling her black and then immediately saying thug in slums after that. Ooh!
I'm not really gonna dive into YG because that company needs its own video, but home to Blackpink, icon, Big Bang, it never ends. But the founder of YG, Yang Hyun-suk, was a founding member of the group Sotaji and the Boys, who are seen as the first iteration of the K-pop groups we see today. In the article in Paris, How Black Culture Created K-pop, Cited Here explains, Sotaji and the Boys' political and rebellious songs created a new Korean youth culture that so closely mirrored black youth culture and experience in the US. Sotaji and the Boys radically shaped K-pop to be what it is today. Even after the group disbanded, their influence remained. The group's impact on Korean music would not have been possible without the black artists they look up to and listen to. The saddest part is that people are blindly labeling blatant appropriation as appreciation without these idols having to actually show any appreciation. Do you think the idols know the names of the hairstyles they're wearing or the actual intended use of a do-rag beyond a quick accessory to look cool? The answer is no, because the bar is in hell. Now let's discuss appropriation versus appreciation, because the line between them is not as thin as most people would like you to believe. In the All Day Project's introduction video, Lee Chae-won says, around 2nd or 3rd grade, I briefly attended elementary school in the US. Lil Wayne and A$AP Rocky were super popular. When I came across their work, I was like, wow, I wanted to be like those cool people in the music videos. I wanted to dress really well and just be cool for once. So I was spot on with my comparison to a child playing dress up. He talks about how this is wish fulfillment for him because he moved to the States from Korea when he was in elementary school and wanted to fit in and just be cool. This perfectly illustrates what I mean about buying into coolness rather than engaging with the culture. He's not talking about connecting with the communities, understanding the history, or even being in proximity to the culture. He's talking about wanting to look like the people in the music videos. That's the difference between appropriation and appreciation. If Chaewon grew up in the States and spent time in these communities and developed these aesthetics, that would be one thing. But instead, now that he's much older and in Korea, far separated from where that culture is, that's where he starts wearing and appreciating hip-hop culture, and then goes on to post photos captioned "Made in Korea." The irony of captioning appropriated aesthetics with "Made in Korea" while profiting off Black American culture is almost too perfect. He used the word appreciation, which now fans are throwing around as a buzzword to deflect from any criticism, but we need to ask ourselves, why has the appreciation of cultures been whittled down to, I like it, so I'm just gonna wear it for myself and profit off of it and look cool? The simplest way I found to explain this is through art appreciation. When you go to a museum, you have to stand a few feet away and appreciate the work from afar. You're not allowed to touch the art, take it off the wall, take it home, cut up the canvas, make it into a garment, and sell it off as your own in the name of appreciation. And further, if the painting was a Monet or Van Gogh, you could not pass it off as just an appreciation of Impressionism with no acknowledgement of the creator. But that exact process of appropriating cultures is normalized when it comes to hip-hop and Black culture. And I already know people are going to comment saying that this analogy doesn't work because cultures are meant to be worn and interacted with, and that's true, but that interaction should be done within the cultural context for its intended purpose. For example, some weirdo commented on my Instagram picture when I visited Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul, South Korea. I was wearing a hanbok, or traditional Korean dress, and they accused me of culturally appropriating, despite me being in the literal place where you're supposed to wear the garment and appreciating and interacting with the culture. Contrast this to the idols we see using Black aesthetics, hairstyles, dialect, and vernacular, while never actually engaging with Black people or our community. An example of actual appreciation was a TikTok I saw on my For You page the other day. There was an Asian girl talking about her favorite Black hairstyles with her Black friend. She knew all the names and had thoughts and opinions on them that she had observed because of her admiration and appreciation. But is she running around wearing these hairstyles for herself? No. Again, do you think the idols know the names of the hairstyles they're wearing, or the actual intended use of a do-rag beyond an accessory to look cool? The answer is no. In fact, for the longest time, a lot of idols simply called any Black hairstyle reggae mori, or reggae hair, lumping them all together. Black hairstyles have actual use and utility, and serve as protective styles for Black hair textures. The same utility is not gained when on non-Black people. In fact, it often damages their hair. But sadly, the extent of learning about Black history and Black people's contribution to the world, for most people, is to disprove and delegitimize it, and or trying to ride the line between appropriation without actually engaging with the culture or Black people. They're not looking for understanding or connection, just enough plausible deniability to profit off of Black culture without being called racist. I wanted to make a video about racism in K-pop when the Kiss of Life incident happened, but I was literally like, what is the rush? Give it a month or two and there will be something else to talk about. And alas, it's like clockwork, truly. If you're unfamiliar, Kiss of Life did a live for one of the members' birthday where all of the members dressed up in stereotypical hip-hop or Black clothing. They spoke in stereotypical slang and AAVE and dialect to impersonate Black people. It was just a minstrel show and a complete mess, and really disgusting on their part.
No, I'm talking about me flirting with my man, and that's not a bestie. I did. 그건 조심해. Wait, who that? Who's that? Who that? Come out. Fake bestie. No, no. Let's talk about. Who are you? What? The bestie. The. Who that? 마음에 안 들어. Who that? 자꾸 우리 주위 세계로 망치는 건 마음에 안 들어. Who that? 잠깐만 기다려. I'm out of town. Thugging women around.
Before they went live, one of the members even said, "Hey, don't unstan us, guys. Make sure you're still gonna stan us after this," indicating that they knew what they were doing was wrong. Oddly enough, I think racism propels artists forward and almost ensures their success. I genuinely believe that these racist incidents are marketing ploys for attention. All press is good press, right? And let's be real, without the controversy or Black aesthetics, what do most of these Blackaboos have going for them? I said I wasn't gonna name names, but I'm looking at you, Jesse. I'm looking at you, Hwasa. Come to the front. Come to the front. It's so obvious because there's literally a formula for it at this point. Be blatantly racist. Wait a few days or weeks to generate outrage and divide fans, and then post a written apology. These apologies are always accepted by people who didn't care in the first place, telling the group they never needed to apologize and it's not that deep. Kiss of Life followed this formula to a T. They still have 1 million followers and still got hundreds of thousands of likes in anticipation for their new comeback. There are no consequences for them. Hey, it's Editing Kilani back again to mention that Julie from Kiss of Life did issue a video apology several months after the incident, and after the initial written apology. Notably, she was the only member to show her face and apologize despite all of the members participating, and conveniently, this came out right before their latest comeback. So it looks like this marketing strategy might have actually backfired and they're scrambling. I'm not going to waste